What's good? It's your boy Fit Graham Mitchell, and I'm here to share a little secret with you. This one's for all the ladies out there. Now, I know that developing the glutes is extremely popular and something that you really want to attain. I don't blame you. Hey, I support that. But I have a secret for you. If you're not eating enough, specifically protein, you're not going to get those gains. It's that simple. A lot of women feel like,
I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to, my arms get too big. Every time I go to the gym, my quads get too big. And I really just want my glutes, so I'm going to do less.
well, you're going to get less. Conversely, eating more does not mean eating more junk. It also doesn't mean that you can't eat carbs either. What it all boils down to is for any muscle development, specifically when we're talking about growth, and guess what? If you want your butt to grow, that's muscle growth. We're talking about being in a calorie surplus. That means you have to eat more calories than you burn. It's actually counterproductive, or it can be counterproductive to do too much if you're already not eating enough. You could potentially get more gains by simplifying your workout. Let's say you don't need to lose a lot of weight. What you could do is focus your workouts on going really hard on the glute exercises that you're doing. Take at least the last 1 to 2 sets of each session for a good 3 to 6 week period to failure or close to failure. And on those days, make sure you're eating in a caloric surplus, getting proportionate amount of carbs and fats, preferably more carbs than fats. Keep the fat fairly low. Eat plenty of carbs, and definitely make sure you're eating enough protein. Now, it's going to vary for each person. So how do you know how much protein you should eat? Well, a general rule of thumb is if you're, between the ages of 20 and 35, and let's say you work out 3 times a week, and those workouts are pretty intense. Also, let's assume that this isn't your first foray into training. If you've been going to the gym fairly regularly for at least a year or two, then this advice will apply to you. You could start with about 0.7, 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. That would be enough. Now, that would be for every single day because you're training 3 times a week pretty intensely. You can definitely train more than that. Just know that if you're going to train 5 days a week, 6 days a week, you're probably going to need to be a little bit closer to the 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. That sounds like a lot of protein, but it's really not. After doing this for as many years as I've been doing it and coaching women, as well as men, whether it's professional athletes, college athletes, untrained individuals, or people who've been going to the gym and are just looking to get better aesthetic and physical results, the amount of protein that I hear that people eat is frankly a little disturbing. Seriously. It's more so the lack of understanding for how much protein they need. I mean, I understand that this is not necessarily knowledge that you have, or you've been misled by some random Instagram reel or post carousel that told you that you don't need that much. The fact of the matter remains that 0.6 grams of protein per body weight, even if you're trying to lose weight, lose fat, you still need to eat that amount. If you want to optimize your results, that is. Cutting your calories super low is actually counterproductive. If you're looking to develop your body, you need your body to function optimally. And once you start basically putting yourself in a state of malnutrition, you're definitely not functioning optimally. So then you can't turn around and expect your body to do the things that you're directing it to do. It doesn't really work that way. I digress. A very common misnomer is that you are in control, complete control of your body. Now, you have the power to be in control of your body. That's true. But if you don't understand the systems of your body and work within that, you're essentially just reacting, and your body can override things. So you can be like,
I'm a female. I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm fairly untrained. So that worked for the first couple of weeks. I saw a little bit of results. And now, it's not working anymore. I think that's just my limit.
No, that's not how it works. What happened was you were kind of untrained. So there was an initial shock to your body, specifically whatever muscles you were training, even though you were in a severe caloric deficit. And then once your body adapted to that and started adjusting to the frequency of training that you were going through, and also kind of adjusting to the lack of nutrition that was coming in, that shock, that initial shock, the soreness that you felt is no longer enough of a stimulus for change. And there's not enough nutrients coming in to repair the damage that is being done, AKA to force new growth. So essentially you start hitting that plateau. And people think that plateau means that they need to go do more oh, I got to do 100 box jumps now too. You know, this fitness thing is so hard, man. I'm never going to be able to. I have to be running up mountains and doing all types of craziness. Well, I mean, that would be nice if you're looking for like athletic performance, sure. But if you're looking to, like I said, develop those glutes and, you know, you're training properly 3 times a week, doing targeted exercises for the areas that you're trying to grow, that is enough, to be honest, at least for the short term. And when I say short term, I mean like a good 6 to 8 weeks of like legitimate substantial growth. But you have to eat enough to support that. If you go to the gym about 3 times a week and you work out fairly hard and you're a woman, you could start at about 0.7, 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And that should be enough, at least for that interim period, to help you with your development. Now, that's only protein. You still need carbs. So I can get into that in another video in terms of how to break down how many carbs you need to eat per day, per meal, how much you need to eat on the days when you are doing those workouts, those more heavy workouts that are targeted towards the growth of your glutes, right? Because we want to be in an anabolic state on that day. That means we want your body to be in a state of growth and repair, which is why you need more calories. On the days when you're not doing that, let's say you're doing more like cardio or core work, things like that, on those days, you don't need as many carbs. In fact, what I do with my clients is I'll have them do a modified version of a carb cycle. So let's say they're doing boxing or Pilates or upper body work or something like that. On those days, I'll have them do what's like a moderate carb intake. So pretty much no carbs before your workout. Well, no carbs before your workout. You can have carbs after the workout in order to repair the damage that was done and to kind of get your daily recommendation or your base recommended needs of carbs. And we should keep that pretty steady. And on days when you're only doing cardio or core work or something that's designed to help you shred down, on those days, we're going to go low carb. And when I say low carb, I mean no carb. The reason why I call it low carb and not no carb, even though essentially is what I'm saying, is because I'm talking about no carbs from carb-dense foods. That's your tubers, your grains, right? Oats. All carb-dense foods are going to fall under those categories, right? Definitely no bread or anything like that. No sugar, if we can avoid it. Fruits definitely fall in that category. Why? Because they have sugar. Oh, but it's natural sugar and it's good for you. You're right. But right now we don't want carbs, so I don't care. You can't have them. Sorry. Too bad. On the days when we're trying to shred down, we're going to go with more of a low carb, no carb approach. And that's going to help balance out your weekly caloric intake. You don't think of it that way. You think, well, I can't have carbs because I'm trying to lose weight. And if I eat too many carbs and I'm in a surplus, I'm going to gain weight. And I'm never going to get in the type of shape I want to get into. Remember that your fat loss really doesn't happen in one day. It happens over the course of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Theoretically, if you just step back and add up all the calories that you were eating during that 2, 3, 4 week period, and how many calories you were burning, or how many calories you would have needed to eat in order to maintain your weight, you will see that you're in a slight deficit by the end of those 2, 3, 4 weeks because of that style of training. We're only training 3 days a week when we're eating in a surplus. That leaves 4 days a week when we're not in a surplus. Do the math. You're going to slowly lose body fat, but you're also going to build muscle and size in the places where we want to. Sounds like a win-win to me. The moral of this story is, if you want to grow your glutes, or any muscle group for that matter, you need to eat enough, specifically protein and carbohydrates. It's that simple. Now, I'm not saying that there's no other methods or diets that people achieve great physiques with, but there's a lot of reasons that we can definitely get into why that happens. What I am saying is that this is how the body works. And if you want to optimize the results you get from your body, you need to lean into the way that the body works. Plain and simple. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me your feedback. Fit Graham Mitchell, Peak in Truth, and I'll see you next time.